On the night of November 26, the Russian Aerospace Forces, together with the missile forces, launched a massive combined attack on the places of deployment of the command personnel of the Ukrainian army and active duty soldiers and officers of armies of NATO countries. Moreover, Russian combat aviation, together with the combat crews of the Iskander missile systems, also began to deliver crushing blows to the supply points of Western long-range missiles in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions. According to independent monitoring services, numerous explosions were recorded in 7 settlements of the Sumy region. In particular, we are talking about Romny, Krolovets, Konotop, Esman, Glukov, Unikovka, and the city of Sumy. In addition, numerous explosions were also recorded in the Kharkiv region, in cities such as Chugiv and Kharkiv. My dear truth seekers, let me remind you that it is in these settlements of the Kharkiv and Sumy regions that the Ukrainian army and NATO forces have deployed Western strike systems, and ATACMS and Storm Shadow long-range missiles to strike deep into Russian territory. And now, 23 hours later, the first details of this massive combined attack of the Russian Aerospace Forces and missile forces against military installations of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces began to appear. So, in the Sumy region, in settlements mentioned above, Russian Iskander M ballistic missiles, together with guided aerial bombs of the Fab family, hit and destroyed about 7 enemy multiple launch rocket systems, 3 command posts, and 5 classified armories, where American ATACMS ballistic missiles and Franco-British Storm Shadow cruise missiles were stored. In the Kharkiv region, in the central part of the city of Kharkiv, at least 2 Russian Iskander M ballistic missiles struck and destroyed the building of the local library, opposite the metro station Universitet. As it turned out, the Ukrainian General Staff used this building to house the personnel of the Ukrainian army. Moreover, the headquarters of Ukrainian nationalists from the Kraken Nationalist Regiment was also located on the 2nd floor of this building. According to the coordinator of the Russian underground in Ukraine, Sergei Lebedev, the Ukrainian High Military Command also stored American ATACMS ballistic missiles in this building. Sergei Lebedev noted that due to the detonation of American ballistic missiles, this building was almost completely destroyed. It is reported that as a result of this attack about 50 Ukrainian nationalists and dozens of American ATACMS ballistic missiles were destroyed. However, the Russian missile strikes on the Kharkiv region did not end there. So, in the city of Chugiv, Russian ballistic missiles hit 2 targets at once, in the southern and northwestern parts of the city. We are talking about the building of the former Orlyanok Children's Camp, and the territory of the military base of the Ukrainian army under the designation A1310. It is reported that as a result of this missile attack, the building of the former Orlyanok Children's Camp was completely destroyed. It is reliably known that foreign mercenaries from Latin America, mainly from Colombia, were in this building. According to preliminary data, this missile attack claimed the lives of 40 Colombian citizens. As for the military base of the Ukrainian army under the designation A1310, here Russian ballistic missiles destroyed 5 barracks, where not only Ukrainian officers, but also officers from NATO allied countries were located. They were mostly British, US, and French citizens. According to numerous sources in the Russian military department, as a result of this missile attack, 30 Ukrainian officers and about 15 NATO officers were killed. It is reported that it was these NATO officers who launched American ATACMS ballistic missiles and Franco-British Storm Shadow cruise missiles at such Russian regions as Bryansk and Kursk. By the way, on November 25, The authoritative French newspaper Le Monde admitted in its article that Ukrainian soldiers and officers cannot independently use such Western long-range missiles as ATACMS and Storm Shadow. According to this French newspaper, all these missiles must be pre-programmed before use, clearly hinting that this process is carried out exclusively by NATO officers. Thus, the French newspaper Le Monde confirmed the words of Vladimir Putin, who clearly stated that all attacks by Western missiles deep into Russian territory are carried out only by NATO officers. Against this backdrop, it is safe to say that over time the number of dead NATO officers and soldiers in Ukraine will only grow, especially given the fact that Russian military intelligence quite effectively determines their exact location.